Hi folks, welcome to Sociology 216, the sociology of gender. In this particular presentation we're going to talk about the syllabus, how the syllabus is going to serve as your roadmap for success in this course, and what are the overall expectations that I have of you if you're going to do well in the course. So, start with course description. This is an online course examining gender in the 21st century. We're taking a sociological perspective. This is different from a psychological perspective. We're looking at what's going on in the social institutions, the norms and values of society that ultimately construct gender as we know it today. And possibly why gender's shifting as we move forward. The course emphasizes issues of social change, of course, demography, social movements, and conflicts and trends within education, religion, family, political, and economic structures. So we're looking at structures of society and how those structures impact identity. So ultimately, we're going to be looking at both the structures of society and then the agency of individuals. So what's the society laying out for us to process, and then how do we as individuals process that to create our own characters, how we understand ourselves. In this one, as far as the objectives of the course are concerned, we're going to learn about gender in the United States and the world. We're going to think about how we look at this concept critically, and how societies have constructed gender differently, and how they've constructed it in similar fashions. Additionally, each of you will learn some valuable skills in reference to gender, and hopefully that plays out in research that you do over the course of this class, whether it's for book reports or answering some of the discussion questions in substantive ways, or it's something that you do as you move forward. As I said, this is an introduction to vocabulary, concepts, and theories of gender and sociology. That brings us to what is sociology. Well, sociology is the systematic study of human social organization. Sometimes you hear people say sociology is the systematic study of society, but we don't look at society as a whole or the world as a whole. We like to break it down into its parts and try and understand how the parts are constructed into a whole. And by examining human social organization, we can understand why we are where we are. During a typical class, you might be, or during a particular week, I guess, as you move through the course chapters, you'll be asked to explain concepts and theories. When you do such things, we'd like to hear that in clear and concise formats. We want to introduce how to present ideas on these types of social issues. Of course, the key to success, regardless of whether we're doing class activities or you're watching videos or whatever the case may be, is to be prepared. Read the material, work through the material before you work on the assignments themselves. That brings us to assignments. You'll have exams in this class. The exams will consist of chapter quizzes. You will have 10 online chapter quizzes. I expect them to take really no more than 30 minutes. And the quizzes will cover assigned readings and videos and such from each section. There'll be multiple choice, and they'll be worth 10 points apiece. You'll have a midterm The midterm and the final are on-site finals. These will consist of some form of multiple choice, possibly some short answer, some true or false, and there could be an essay. I'll let you know if there's going to be an essay on the exam or not. The midterm will cover all the material up to the beginning of week 8, and the final exam, which is the last day of class or over the last week of class, will cover all of the material from week 9 on. You'll also have some writing assignments. You'll do 2 video summaries. We'll watch a series of videos over the course of the semester. I'll identify a couple of them for you to do writing assignments on. The writing assignments themselves are 2 pages, critical examinations of the class videos. You'll summarize the main arguments of the videos. You'll give us some critical review of what you think of these arguments, and you'll bring in some course material to make connections to what else we're talking about in class. In order to get max points, you want to cover all 3 of those areas. You will write, as I said, 2 video summaries, one in the first half of the class, one in the second half of the class, and each will be worth 30 points. The first video is week 6, second video is week 13. At the end of week 10, you're going to do a book report. In this class, you'll write a book review on Half the Sky, Turning Oppression into Opportunity for Women Worldwide. The book report should be about 5 to 6 pages, and it should follow the guidelines that I've outlined in the assignment on D2L. I've also put some those basic outlines on, or those basic guidelines on the news board on D2L as well. And you can find them at this website here. I'll use those guidelines to evaluate your book report, so it behooves you to look at those guidelines. The book report will be worth 50 points. And then you'll have to do 4 discussion questions. This is an online course. We do have to have some discussion, and we will do this through public discussion on 4 particular questions that I will lay out over the course of the semester. Your responses are essay responses, so they deserve more than a couple of lines to answer them. I would imagine that you can answer them in about 200 words per question. Along with your own responses, you will need to respond to other students' questions or responses as well. You can do as many as you would like, but you at least need to respond to one other student. And when you do that, it doesn't have to be 200 words. It can be a couple of lines. I agree with you. This is why I agree with you. And you know, it needs to be more in depth than, oh yeah, but it doesn't have to be 200 words. When you respond to the posted question, I want you to start your own topic with your own title. That helps me keep an eye on who's writing what and what's connected to what, and it just helps keep the message board in order. And each discussion question and response is worth 10 points for a total of 40 points for the 4 questions. Grading in this class, traditional 90% to 100 is an A, 80 to 89 B, 70 to 79 C, 60 to 69 D. Anything below a 60 is an F. I don't expect you all to get any Fs, but it could happen. Total points in this class, I see there's a little discrepancy in the text there. It's actually 450 points, not 470 points. So keep that in mind. Online chapter quizzes are listed in the readings and video lists for each week. The video summary, of course, is due week 6. The discussion questions are due over the course of the semester. In-class midterm, week 8. Book report, week 10. Video summary, number 2, week 13. And in-class final, week 16. I tried to break them up in such a way that would help you keep a good pace as you move through the course. A note on appropriate behavior in online courses. Online courses have stricter standards of behavior than public blogs or social networking sites. The civil discussion relevant to the course is essential and encouraged, but inappropriate behavior such as personal attacks and monopolizing will result in some sort of corrective disciplinary action, most likely starting with me. If it continues to get then it will have to be addressed by someone higher than me. It'll be moved up the chain of command. I don't expect that we're going to get that, but it's something to keep in mind. Just as a way to think about this, you want to interact with people in an online class with the same courtesy you would in a traditional classroom. And remember, of course, humor and sarcasm often do not translate clearly in the digital world, especially with texts and emails. So keep that in mind. You know, jokes are rarely as funny as you think they are, and they certainly aren't as funny as you think they are in an online setting. If you want to know more about this, refer to the Student Code of Conduct, our Code of Conduct link. And yeah, if you have any questions or concerns, please email me. As I mentioned, the midterm and the final are proctored exams. This course requires the midterm and final proctored exams must be taken either at an FRCC testing center, through an online proctoring service, or at another pre-approved location. When you do take those exams, bring a photo ID and plan to arrive at FRCC testing at least 2 hours before the testing center closes, so you have enough time to take the exam. I don't imagine the exam will take more than an hour, but if you have special needs, you might need to have more than an hour. So plan accordingly. If you're unable to take the test at one of the prescribed FRCC campus testing centers, you need to get in touch with me, and we need to figure something out. So the FRCC testing hours and proctoring information are available online at the below link. So welcome to the class, and that should lay out kind of the expectations that I have for the course. And yeah, let's learn some gender.